Hi, I'm Tom Abbott. I'm a presenter of the Sustainable Construction podcast presented by Green Easy. We have with us Neil Lewis and also James King, and they're going to be talking about a new timber frame technique. So first of all, let's have a little bit about Neil. So he worked in private practice in Dublin, Birmingham, London and Norwich. It's a husband and wife team, Neil Lewis and Amy Tyrrell. And they started their own practice, Lewis and Tyrrell Architects, having practiced independently since 2005. Their work is about responding to each client and their site's individual requirements and to produce simple and elegant designs within tight financial and tight constraints. From domestic lobby extensions to large-scale new build commercial projects, they aim to provide a personal service and make the process as an enjoyable experience for the client. They also attempt to design as efficiently as possible with a holistic approach to sustainability. And they believe site orientation, passive thermal design, and the use of renewable and local resources are key to achieving a sustainable design. Current projects that they're working on include looking to Passive House and Code Sustainable Homes Level 6 design criteria, alongside exploring the use of energy generation through biomass and photovoltaics. So my first question for you, Neil, is what type of project have you used the Neuholz system on? I'm not sure if I quite pronounced that correctly, but...
Neuholz. Well, this is the first one, and we have used timber frame before, but so this is a bespoke residential scheme, which I must say we worked on with in conjunction with Cowan Consultant. Phil Cowan, who's an architect as well, had designed the project, and we worked closely with him on this and other projects, giving him technical assistance, but also, as we're architects, helping to design that and make that all flow. So this project featured a curved stairwell. It's got flat roofs. Client wanted a high quality build and the reassurance of cost, of build cost as well. So that's why we use this new system.
Why did you choose the Neuholz system?
Well, like all these things, it boils down to cost. When we went through it, it was an interesting design with lots of different angles. It's not a square building. So that limited some products that we might have chosen. We also, but the sort of, the thing that clinched it really was that the client was prepared to have just a timber finish inside. He wasn't looking for plasterboard and all that. So we were able to cut out all those finishes. And the cost, well, we're still building it, and some cost is still coming in, but it does give him that confidence that he's got a product which will come in at the same cost as a traditional build.
What did you learn whilst doing the project?
We use SketchUp and tend to use it more for early on for the design, for planning. But in this project, we carried on through because, as I say, the walls were all at slightly different angles. And, we had to make sure that we knew where all the fittings, for all the light fittings, where all the sockets were going to go, because all that was going to be done up front. So that, it also meant we could look at all the, because it's a curved building as well, which is not necessarily a good idea with timber, but we managed to do that. and the benefit then of savings on internal finishes, which, as I said, weren't required.
What are the benefits and disadvantages of using the new whole system?
Well, you're getting factory finish, factory produced. Therefore, that, and obviously that helps, well, like any other timber frame system, but that helps with speed on site. This one is different because you get this nice internal finish, aesthetically pleasing. The disadvantages, you need space for a large crane, and so site access is important. And I suppose the other thing is, because this is a finish, you know, we're in this country with its climate mix, you need to make sure that you can keep everything, get everything in quickly enough and keep it all dry so you don't get any damage to the timber. The problem with that is because it's so quick, there isn't really, it's not cost effective to have scaffolding over it, and you know, for the time, perhaps James could comment on that, but he ended up doing it very quickly so that we could get the roof on and get everything watertight.
Okay, perfect. So would you use Newhouse again?
Yeah, we would. I think we were very keen on it. The other thing to say is it's all timber, so the fixings are screwed in, which is a timber system. So everything is timber. There's no bolts on the system itself. So yeah, I mean, we were very keen on it. Thomas Hoffler from Bright Forest Limited, who actually supplied the system in the UK, were very helpful. Again, this is you know, we were all learning on this project, but you know, I think we've got through it, and hopefully the results will show that.
Okay. Well, thanks for that, Neil. I'll come back to you later. Now, if we move over to James. So James, you run construction company King and Company, Norfolk. You've worked on many different types of buildings, I believe, over a long career. So you came across this technology. How have you found using it actually as a construction professional contractor, from the contractor side so far?
We've really enjoyed it, and it's really opened our eyes to a kind of new way of working. We specialise in timber framing, but this what we tend to do is site build. So to start dealing with off-site fabrication is a bit of a new world for us, and it's really opened our eyes to it. From a purist point of view, it's a great product to work with, you know, because it is, as Neil says, it's all timber. There's no kind of, you know, metal elements to it at all. So what you can do with this system is really amazing. Actually, the kind of load bearing and the spans you can achieve. It's been a really good eye-opening experience for us.
And can you talk about the sort of sustainable side of it you've seen as actually building it? So what really stands out for the technology for you?
I think the simplicity of it is the biggest thing. So we did a factory visit before, kind of way before we ever started with the project, and to go to the factory, which is in the Black Forest, and see that, you know, the timber that goes into these buildings is locally sourced. You know, some of the woodland is actually owned by the factory, by the company that manufacture the system, and then to get on site and to sort of understand the speed and ease of this system. And what I love about it is the way that it uses very old technology. You know, this idea that the pegs kind of expand and lock the panels up, and you know, with the natural finish, there's very little in the way of the kind of modern, slightly nasty toxins that go into modern building. You know, so there's no plasterboard, there's no PIR insulation, and everything, you know, even down to the insulation is made from a byproduct. It's a compressed wood fibre insulation. They make that from the chippings from making the panels. You know, so it's thought about at every level.
And I imagine that the energy for the factory comes from renewable energy as well. So
yeah, it's all. I think it's wood pellets. So again, it's the byproduct from the waste material from making the panels themselves.
okay, that's really good. And you did, I think when I spoke to you previously, you did mention that there was also a company in the UK with a factory doing a similar sort of thing. Is that right?
Well, there's this. I've yet to kind of look into this in any further detail, but I know there was a lot of research going into CLT production in the UK. But this system is different. So the thing that really makes this system stand out is there's no adhesive whatsoever in between the layer and this CLT.
So you're removing the chemicals.
Exactly that. Yeah. So this is a very kind of natural product, really. You know, I think that. That seems a bit of a sort of contrast with other modern building techniques, including the production of CLT. You know, the glue that goes into those panels is really toxic, full of formaldehyde, cyanide, and things like that. Whereas this is just, it's a very, very simple, very old technique. The panels are all held together with these timber dowels, and that's it.
So at the moment you're building houses. Do you think it's possible to build commercial buildings with the same technology?
I think it could work very, very well. Yeah, I mean the company in Germany, they build a really wide range of buildings, a lot of government buildings, lots of schools and public buildings are built from this system. And in fact, the building that we've been working on with Neil, in a way, doesn't lend itself so well to this system because it's timber panels, and there's lots of unusual shapes in this building. So it's been a real test that this had worked fantastically for very simple buildings, rows of terrace houses for social housing. That's the sort of thing where this could really, really stand out, and the speed could be amazing.
I suppose the actual, once you've sort of got it in place, it's quite simple to put together.
Yeah, and I think, as Neil said, we've all been learning on this one. So I think we could speed things up no end. We've got a very, very willing and patient client. We're very lucky to have the client we have on this one, which has meant we've had a smaller team in place so that we can all kind of get our heads around how this works, but if we were to do it again, we could get a much bigger team in place and build very, very quickly using this system.
So with regards to the future and the technology, it's obviously they have the research and development department in the company. Do you think it's going to continually get better?
Yeah, and we've got evidence of that already. So the system that we've been using is 160 mil solid wall panel, and then we've put, from memory, 160 mil of wood fibre insulation externally. They've since this building's started going up, they've developed a new panel system whereby the insulation is within the CLT panel. So that would be a huge saving on time on site, and I think the development of that is always they're going to keep working, keep improving it, keep making this a really viable option. Okay,
so to finish then, really, would it be possible for myself or Rod and Tom, who also presents on this podcast, to come and visit one of your sites in the future and actually record a podcast at the site and go around the building and show our viewers what the building is actually like?
I think that'd be a great idea. Yeah. And you'd be very welcome, I think, to talk to the client as well about his experience with this and what's led him to choose this system.
So, Neil, would you recommend your clients who come to you and ask to design houses in future to use this technology?
Absolutely. I mean, we like James has said, we're it's a great system. It's almost like a traditional sort of medieval system, which and I wasn't aware of this new insulation inside, so that will be another plus, which I think is what it lends itself very much to passive house as well. We didn't with this go that far, this project, but it could easily, and that really interests me and excites me, because you're always looking for a system that you can pin down on cost, because that's important to the client, but that, you know, you can do all these different things with. And as James said, I mean, it would be good to go and see it on site, because it's not a straightforward building, and you can see what the possibilities are with it.
We've kind of pushed the limits with this building as well, haven't we? It really shows what is possible with this system. You know, to create a curved stairwell from you know, CLT panels has really proven that, you know, what is possible, what they can do with this system, and how well they've executed it as well, actually.
Okay. Once at the end of this podcast, you'll be able to have a look at the well, in the comments will be the website for both James and Neil's company, and from there, if you want to email them, I'm sure they'll send you photographs of the developments if you're interested. But yeah, so thank you, James, and thank you, Neil, for being guests on the Sustainable Construction podcast today. We've really learned a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.